Sergeant Moving and Storage for this interview. DDS for vets as well. Sergeant Moving Storage. Definitely check him out at sergeantmovingstorage.com. And I am excited about my guest today, Anthony Bonna. He's going to talk about his work with veterans, running for political office, and DDS for vets. Anthony, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much, Neil. I'm very happy to be on.
All right, first of all, what made you want to run for state office? I sometimes think about it. I don't know if I could have half the people hate me, right, when I'm running, and be able to try to work with everyone. It's hard. And then they go back and dig deep into a lot of things that you've done in your life.
So my current responsibility now is I serve as a city councilman in Port St. Lucie, my community. And really, my public service stemmed from growing up in the community. And I had a lot of organizations that helped form me when I was growing up. So I was a little brother in Big Brothers Big Sisters. I was an Eagle Scout. I earned scholarships from places like the Education Foundation and Rotary, and had an opportunity to attend Georgetown University, but always knew I wanted to come back and make my community a better place, but not only do that, but be a part of those organizations that helped form me. I became chair of the Education Foundation, and I was on the Eagle Scout Review Board. I interview Georgetown students. I'm a member of that Rotary Club for over a decade now. And in 2018, I had the opportunity, because I've always been very passionate about kind of our country and protecting what makes our country great. In 2018, I had an opportunity to be appointed to the St. Lucie County Commission by Governor Scott. And I got a taste of local government and kind of what that aspect of the community was like. And that year was a really tough year for my party. And so I didn't win the full term. What I did win was a real heart for continuing that public service. 2021, I had an opportunity to run in a special election for city council. Our city is the 6th largest city in Florida. A lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that.
And we're bigger than Fort Lauderdale, if you can believe it. And for 250,000 people. And then I was reelected to that in 2022. And I really believe that kind of the next extension of that public service, I've only been in office in total between the county and the city a little more than one term. But I think the next extension of that service is the state level. I think that's the best way I can address the issues that matter to my community.
Exactly. And what do you differentiate you? And then we'll get into more of the work with veterans compared to your other candidates running.
I think I have the experience to be effective for the community. I think a lot of us care about the same things in the county and the city, and just the work that I've done, have the experience to advocate for the community and advance the issues that we care about, whether that's affordability, whether that's transportation infrastructure, and whether that's the values that we all care about.
Wow, absolutely. And what do you think that you want to bring if you are elected? What are your plans? What new initiatives and things you're thinking about?
I'll just talk about my service on the council and what I've done so far. The things that I'm passionate about, I make a difference on. So for instance, an issue like human trafficking, you wouldn't think that's a city council issue. But I worked with our state legislator. I helped lead the effort to make Port St. Lucie the first city in the state of Florida to join Attorney General Ashley Moody's 100% Club. Now she's our U.S. Senator. But what that did was it trained all 1,200 of our employees. If you think about it, how many employees in a city our size interact with residents in various different ways every single day? Every employee needed to know how to spot and report the signs of human trafficking. And so we were recognized as Trailblazer of the Year for those efforts. Even on veterans issues, one of the things I was passionate about growing up in scouting, I always had a reverence for our flag. And so we started a flagged retirement box program. So now there's several locations throughout the city where residents can drop off their worn and tattered flags. Taxes, I've really focused on. We control 2 line items on the bill, but I've made those 2 line items as low as possible. We're the 3rd lowest out of the top 20 largest cities, which is great because we're one of the youngest cities. And so we have more transportation infrastructure needs than most. I really focus, no matter what I do, on delivering on the values that I care about.
I love that. Now talk about why you work with veterans.
Growing up in scouting, there was really a sense of patriotism instilled and always a deep respect for our veterans. My grandfather served in the Navy, and it's part of my nature to give thanks and to give gratitude towards people for what they've done for you. That's really what motivates me in my life. And no one has done more than our veterans, because the United States, with all its faults, is the greatest, freest country in the world. It's truly exceptional. I believe that. And so that doesn't come without people that have stood and sacrificed everything in order to make that the case. And so when I I was active in the community, I met a lady named Deb Doherty, and Deb was very passionate. I met her kind of at the infancy of DDS for Vets. I was a newly appointed county commissioner at the time, and she was just telling me with such passion about this gathering that was going to happen with Brian Mast, our congressman. There was going to be 30 or 40 people, and they were getting together, and they were discussing this new vision that she had of a network of people, a network of business owners that would provide resources to our veterans, and also their main focus, which is providing the service animals free of charge to our vets. And so I really believed in what Deb is doing and her vision and the vision of the board, and I have really since the beginning.
And that's the thing, that what DDS for Vets is able to do, and we'll talk about the gala as well, is just amazing in the fact that they provide multiple services, helping vets and really seeing who's in need, right? And you've seen the infancy of the organization to where it is now, and you got to be blown away.
Yeah. I could just tell from talking with her in the beginning that it was going to be something big, that she just had the drive and the passion to get it done. But I could never have imagined what it's grown into. And so I'm really proud of what she's helped build.
Exactly. And what do you feel you like most about working with DDS for Vets?
There are a lot of organizations that make an impact in our community. And my role in DDS for Vets, it's small. I'm there as a community supporter. I support the gala. I'm not on the board or anything. But one of the things that I'm proud of, there's a lot of organizations that make an impact in our community. But DDS for Vets is a national organization that helps, and it's headquartered right here in our city. And so their reach goes far beyond the city of Port St. Lucie, far beyond St. Lucie County. And that's something to really be proud of, because when our vets were defending our country, they didn't care about county borders. They cared about our country. And so this is an organization that truly helps our country.
It absolutely does. And that's important. And what do you think are the components to be able, as a foundation, to be able to do the work? What do you think is the measuring stick? Because you're definitely leading initiatives, so you understand what foundations are really making that difference. How can you measure those things?
Yeah, I think in terms of foundations, I think it's very important to keep alive an awareness of history in the community. I speak a lot of remembrance ceremonies and such in the community as a councilman. And I always say that it's important to gather here because it's important to remember, because President Reagan said freedom's only one generation away from extinction. And so if we forget and we take things for granted, that puts our entire country at risk. And so I think DDS for Vets is successful because they're constantly out there and they're constantly creating awareness in the community and collaborating.
Absolutely. I think that you're so right about that, because when you're measuring something, you got to see the difference that an organization makes. That they could be raising money, but ultimately not making the initiatives happen, the ultimate goals of what DDS for Vets does. And how excited are you about the gala? And I can talk to people about, specifically, it's coming up very soon. Are you excited?
It is. There's a few events every year that you look forward to, and DDS for Vets Gala is one of those events. They always bring in inspirational speakers, and it's always a who's who of the community. And when they connect the vets with the service dogs, that is always just an emotional experience to see that connection being made.
Absolutely. And to get to network with different people, and there's going to be some pretty interesting dignitaries there that maybe you'll get some support from, right? Going into your...
I think it's important, and this is something that I've showed up to year after year, and it's really because I believe in the mission, and they call it the Believe in the Mission Gala, and I really take that to heart. You do the right thing, and you stand up for the right causes, it all follows.
Exactly. It's about doing the right thing, and then things just fall into place for you. That's the key. And feel good about it, because it makes you feel good to be around an organization like this and to be able to give back, because sometimes we don't understand what veterans are going through once they transition from the military, and how the military transition is not an easy thing. Any type of transition is difficult, but especially the military.
Yeah. Veteran suicide is one of the biggest tragedies in our nation. The fact that we're not doing more, that we haven't done more. And DDS for Vets really, I think it steps in and tackles that one person at a time, and through creating these relationships with the dogs or other resources that vets need.
Absolutely. So the 5th annual Believe in the Mission Gala is Saturday, February 7th, 2026 from 5:30 to 10 p.m. And the best place to go purchase tickets is tickets are going really fast. You heard about that too, right? There's only a few remaining. So You got to act quickly. Just go to ddsvets.org and purchase your tickets today. And where can we find info on you? Is there a website we can check out for your campaign and everything?
I'll give you my council page. It's councilmanbonna.com. You can always reach out to me there, or you can find me on Google, Anthony Bonna.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it, sir. All right.
Have a blessed day.
All right. Thank you.
At the gala.
I look forward to meeting you too. All right. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and thanks, Sergeant Moving and Storage, for this interview. And we'll be back in just a moment.